All boils down to this, folks. One game to rule it all. That's right. It's the Nations League over in Europe. And we got the final, the grand final that's coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again in another video. Today we take a look at the UEFA Nations League. It's the grand final, and it's coming at you just a second. Of course, if you know where you've been, smash your subscribe button, your stop shop for Blackburn Rovers World Cup UEFA Nations League, baby. We got it here, all here under one roof. That's right, we've got ourselves up an absolutely cracking final, despite Germany crashing out. We've got some bang-dang-a-ding-dong final. And we also got a small matter of a third-place playoff to talk about. Well, what am I talking about? We'll show you in a second. Big shout out to the members of the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, hit the old subscribe. So what we're going to do now, though, is revisit those semi-finals, which were the other day. What games they were. Absolutely bananas. And, of course, what do we have to look forward to in the final itself? So first and foremost, let's get the old small matter out of the way of my predictions and the scoreline. Started with Germany against Portugal. Yeah, of course, I backed my boys, didn't I? I backed Germany to win this one. I went with a 2-0 win. Unfortunately, it was a 2-1 win. Portugal coming out on top with some last gas drama to seal the bloody deal. Meanwhile, the real game of the bloody week was Spain against France. It ended up with being 5-4. I went with a 3-1 win. I did go for goals on this one. Did back Spain, of course, but France, unfortunately, left it a little bit too late in the end. But it does goes to show that there might be a little bit of a Achilles heel in that Spanish side, that they can concede some goals. Regardless, we look forward to this grandstand final in the Nations League. So let's get into it then, shall we? First and foremost, let's talk about the small matter, and that is the third, fourth playoff, really. And again, this one's a little bit weird because the third, fourth playoff held in the World Cup, it's not held in the Euros, but it's held here in the Nations League. I think it maybe just to add a little bit of extra legs in this. So I'm expecting a full rotated squad for both these two nations coming into. It's coming out of the MHP Arena. Germany, of course, under Nagelsmann, up against France under Didier Deschamps. Germany just one win now in the last 4 matches, up against the French. Also, not the greatest form for them. 58% form, just 2 wins out of the last 5 for them. Coming at you, they played 13 times in 2003. 4 wins Germany, 6 wins France, 3 draws between the two sides. Germany have a 2-0 win on their record. That's their biggest in recent time anyway. Scored 11 goals in those 13 matches, 0.85 goals a game. The French have a 3-0 win on the record. They've got 16 goals scored in 13 matches, 1.23 goals a game. Now, the last time these two sides played, excuse me, in Germany, I do believe it was a 2-1 win for Germany back in September 2023. It's actually been back-to-back wins for Germans, stretching back to 2023. The last time the French one was back in June 2021 in the Euros, 1-0 win as it was for the French. So it was an era of the French dominance. There was a period here in recent times, 4 games unbeaten, but it's now been back-to-back wins for Germany, both home and away. Germany on the back of that 2-1 loss to Portugal. Of course, prior to that, 3-3 draw against Italy. Their last victory was away to Italy, but it's only been 1 win in the last 4 for the Germans. Up against the French, who did put up a display against the Spanish, trying to get back into it in the end. But of course, looking back at their resume, it's not been perfect for them. In the last 3, they lost against Croatia. They squeaked through on penalties against them in the last in the semi-final, quarterfinals, what have you. And then, of course, the Spain thriller 5-4 in the end. But of course, they did show some fight in the end. So the bookies for this one do have 7-5 for Germany, 7-4 is your French, 11-4 is the draw here. Could get dragged into penalties. I'm expecting goals. I'm expecting a lot of chaos. I'm expecting a lot of mayhem. But ultimately, I do think Germany will lose this one. I think they're more prone to mix it up. I don't think it matters as much to them. And honestly, I think the German squad is very young, still trying to learn its stride here and trying to become a little bit more of a force. The French have more weapons on there, and again, the second string is probably going to be better than the Germans' team that they've put out. So I'm going with the French. I think Didier Deschamps will take it more seriously. I think no disrespect to Germany, and I love Germany, but I don't think they really care, to be honest. But if they win the final, yes, they would go for it. But of course, this is like a Mickey Mouse game. Definitely, pretty much 80% rotation I would expect from Germany in this match, and probably similar sort of stuff for the French moving forward. But let's talk about the real match. This is the final. It is Portugal. It is Spain. That's right. Also coming at you at the Allianz Arena. That's right. As Portugal under Roberto Martinez under pressure. Roberto Martinez. If he wins this, Back off Mourinho, back off whoever's waiting. The scavengers are waiting to take over the role here. But he's coming into this, just one defeat in the last 6 for them. 67% form for them. Up against Spain and Luis de la Fuente, who of course 92% form for them, winning 5 of the last 6. Unbeaten in at least the last 6. They haven't lost in the last 19 games, of course. Played 11 times, these two nations, of course, neighbours on the European grand scheme of things on the map. 2 wins Portugal, 4 wins Spain, 5 draws between the two sides. Portugal's biggest win was a 4-0 win. They scored 12 goals in those 11, picking up a 1.09 goals a game on average. As for Spain, they've got a 3-0 win. They've scored 14 goals in the 11, 1.27 goals a game. Now, the last time these two sides played, it was in Portugal. It was a 1-0 win for Spain back in September 2022. Portugal, in fact, haven't beaten Spain in a long, long time. I'm going back. How many times they played? Back to November 2010. It was a friendly. It was a 4-0 for Portugal a long, long time ago. However, let's give you a bit of confidence here, Portugal. Prior to that 1-0 win by Spain, the last 4 have ended up all square prior to that. So there's been a lot of draws knocking around between these two sides, including that 3-3 thriller way back at the FIFA World Cup in 2018. The Portuguese, though, on a good bit of form at the minute, sort of a couple of surprising results. They did draw away to Croatia. They lost to Denmark, but they did pick up the all-important second leg there, and of course beat Germany in Germany. Ain't no slouches. Up against the Spanish, though, again, they've been decent. Unbeaten in 19. Their only hiccup really was the draw, 2-2 draw against the Netherlands. They could have actually got eliminated with the penalty shootout, but of course with a 5-4 Bobby does that against the French, put them in the driving seat for this one. So left now with the odds on this one. What do we think? What do we take? What do we hope? 11-4 is your Portugal. 11-10 on is your Spain. 14-5 is the draw. Now, of course, not Mourinho. He's not even in the equation. What I was going to say Ronaldo, of course, big time player in the last game against Germany. Showed that he's still got it in his locker. Can he deliver again against the Spanish side? These are tough opponents. And again, looking back, track record shows that it's a tight game between these two sides. They don't like to lose against each other. They're on they are neighbours for all intents and purposes. But right here, right now, the Spanish team, I think, is like the best on the planet. They're playing good football. There's a young squad, a hungry squad, and they are going to be a force for the World Cup next year, no matter what. Of course, this is just a precursor for their World Cup appetite next year. Of course, I don't think they actually started their World Cup campaign, but they'll be there. As for Portugal, this could be one of those games. This could be one of those games. Of course, Roberto Martinez has got the heat on his shoulders. Wins this, he sticks around for the World Cup. Loses this, Mourinho's there ready and waiting. He'll take over for the World Cup qualifiers and he'll be there in the World Cup. So honestly, there is only one scenario here, and that is a convincing, well, I wouldn't say convincing, a narrow 2-1 win, but a good game. Maybe Portugal take the lead. Spain, of course, bring it back 1-1 and then snatch it in the 85th minute to secure the Nations League once again for De La Fuente's team. And that would probably signal the end for Roberto Martinez in the dugout, or bring in Jose Mourinho. Him and, of course, Ronaldo will sing it out to the 2026 World Cup, and who knows what goes on in that grand scheme of things. But that's the scenario that I see happening. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions about it as we look forward to the conclusion of the Nations League this coming Sunday, the 8th of June. Until then, subscribe, smash like, catch you later. But of course, make sure you come back again. And of course, check out some content right here at Blackburn Overseas.